Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Zach, but you guys can call me Hazardous. Thank you so much for tuning back into this video, and welcome back to another episode of the Red Dead Redemption 2 podcast, where Iru399, Red Dead 2 videos, and myself discuss a different topic every single podcast. And with the gameplay trailer coming out recently for Red Dead Redemption 2, there's a lot to discuss, so these future podcast episodes leading up until release are going to be a lot shorter, but they're going to be more frequent, and we're going to be coming out with a lot of podcasts. And today's topic is the map size in Red Dead Redemption 2, made relevant by Legacy Killer HD, and also Red Bandit in their recent videos discussing the map size and how Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be perhaps the biggest and the most detailed, which we kind of already knew, but we also kind of didn't know. And so I'll let you guys just enjoy this podcast, grab a drink, grab some popcorn, enjoy, sit back and relax, and we will see you guys in the podcast.
What's going on, folks? How you doing? I'm RDR2 I'm here with Mr. Hazard and Mr. Red Dead 2 videos. We're all here. We're going to be talking about Red Dead 2. I think this is the first time we've been in a big call together in a video since the gameplay dropped, so I suppose most of what we talk about this week will be surrounding that. So we've got a lot to talk about. What's going on, fellas?
How's it going?
How's it going, people?
Dean and Hazard, but the other way around. So Hazard spoke first. We all know what we all sound like by now. It's just,
oh yeah,
on, man. We just, yeah, it's really okay. So someone take it away. Let's go with the first topic.
Let's go. So, like Rue said, Dean and Rue did a podcast a couple weeks ago, and then Rue and I did a podcast, I think last week, right around when the gameplay trailer dropped, a couple days after. I've been away on vacation, just for anyone who hasn't known, but in terms of Red Dead Redemption 2 gameplay, we'll probably be getting one of those extra trailers soon. I guess for this video, why don't we talk about like some things that we haven't seen yet from the gameplay that we want to see in the next one. I mean, of course, they kind of teased, future missions, bank robberies, train robberies, and heists and things like that. And then the Deadeye system. That's really exciting. That little tease we got right at the end of Deadeye.
Oof. Oh,
totally revamped.
Where he's spinning his gun around and putting it in the holster.
Mm-hmm. I really like that.
It's so clean. The noise of it going in that holster is brilliant.
It's just smooth.
Funnily, we still haven't seen that much about the characters. We see them, and we're sort of aware of who they are, sort of by former knowledge. We know Dutch and a bunch of others, but we still haven't really seen Arthur talk to them very much, and actually who they are, as opposed to just like, why don't we go over there and do this? We don't know much about that. Like, we've heard Dutch talk some bollocks at some point, but I still want to know who Arthur is and why he's there in the first place. We can have a good guess, but we don't know.
Yeah. They haven't really talked about him at all.
I think it's because it's Rockstar's thing about not giving too much away. They can show a lot without giving the story away. What do you say?
I think we do know a little bit about Arthur, though. Not like in terms of any story details, but just from the two cuts of him, like when he had the guy who was looting the dead body on the side of the road, he was aiming his gun at him, and Arthur's like, do what you want, or shoot me, I don't care, and just like walks away. And that was showing off like the type of mechanics that you can do for that situation with NPCs.
Yeah.
But that shows you how Arthur reacts to that certain situation, as well as when he's by Bill Williamson, he's like, as long as we get paid and you get shot, I don't care. You could tell he's not taking himself seriously.
Yeah, I wonder if he's one of those that's just clearly numb to death. Doesn't really care. I don't. You get shot in the head. That's a shame.
Yeah. Oh well.
That's unfortunate. I'm still here, so we'll just go ahead and go get some beers.
Exactly. Start drinking with Lenny.
Lenny. They're gonna meme that one. Lenny. Yeah, I think it's, I liked the kids thing a lot. I didn't know how I felt about it to start with, but I think they need it. It would be a weird thing if you had like John and Abigail, but no kid hanging around.
Yeah, true.
I think kids always lighten the mood a bit. So if you've got a campfire scene, and you've got a little, I'm not a huge fan of children, but if you've got them running around doing stuff like that, makes it a little bit more playful. We did see a huge amount in that damn gameplay video. We've been analysing it for weeks now, but there's so much there. Like the map size, it's enormous.
It's huge,
Massive.
Man. Huge.
It's enormous. I saw Legacy Killer was almost debating with himself on Twitter about the size of the map and whether or not it was going to be the biggest they've done. I don't know if you two seen this.
Yeah, I've seen this. Yeah.
He uploaded a video today too.
He did. Yeah, I think it's got to be the biggest they've done. in not just feel but in size.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at them, like the way the mountains are, you can't just hop along and just skip up them. You have to full on traverse stuff, and it looks like there's a big deep valley you got to go into before you can come up. So oh my god, it's just, this game is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah, it was confirmed by the PlayStation Access. I believe they confirmed facts about the map and that it is definitely Rockstar's biggest and best map to date. So it is going to be very exciting.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, Legacy Killer was talking about that too, right?
Yeah, it was in his video.
That's
Yeah,
video
he spoke about that.
That's because I still haven't seen that PlayStation Access video, but he played that one clip about it, and that's really cool actually. Because, I mean, if you look at the map comparisons of the leaked map, and then if you compare it to GTA 5, you still can't scale it properly because the dirt trails in like Sandy Shores in that area, that's, call it the same width as like the average thoroughfare in Red Dead Redemption 2. If you try and scale it properly, you can't, because the GTA 5 map, those dirt paths appear on the map the same size as like the major highways in the game. So you still don't get you can't directly compare the size of the map, just judging off of the two maps we've seen.
Oh yeah. I know what you mean. You can't. They're not even built or designed in the same way, so there's no real link.
Exactly. So you could put them side by side, and just putting if you compare it to the road size to road size in both maps, and you do the Red Dead Redemption 1 map and then Red Dead Redemption 2 end to end, it's actually the size of GTA 5, or at least the length of it, from I guess No Salida in Mexico and Red Dead Redemption 1 to like the northeast corner of the leaked Red Dead Redemption 2 map. So honestly, I think it's going to be absolutely enormous.
Yeah,
and very detailed too.
We've spoken about this before, but the feel. Mm-hmm. Even if the actual, I can't remember the metric they used to use for when they were talking about comparison. It's like squares or whatever. So it's like a grid. The map's this big grid, and they judge the size of the map by the number of squares or cubes in that grid that's filled. You can't, even if it's like one is, call it 500 wide and 1,000 long, and the other is, just virtually the same, it could be used a lot differently. So, GTA 4, all crisscross roads, completely straight, and then sharp corners, and you could go from one side of the map to the other in 30 seconds. It's going to take you 3 or 4 minutes to do that in GTA 5 because of the twisty turny roads in the middle of the city, and then as you go out, it sort of diverts you up and down, left and right. So you're having to cover a lot more ground to do the same distance. And that's why, like in Red Dead Redemption 2, that looks like the same thing. You're going to have to go up a long way before you can go across. And the same is like if you want to just hop across a thing that's maybe, 70 meters wide, you're going to have to travel 350 meters just to, cross it, because you can't take your horse through it because it's too deep in the river or whatever. Like that sort of thing. So that will make the game feel a lot bigger as well.
Oh, yeah.
So like another one is if you go all the way out to behind Mount Chiliad in GTA 5, you don't feel like you're in the middle of Los Santos. You're in a completely different place, right? Because of you can't see Los Santos, you can't see the city. You're surrounded by different vehicles and buildings. It feels different. So if you're in the middle of a swamp and it's dusk and there's mist, and you're in the middle of those really wet trees, the ones that really hang down, and you're like knee deep in, and there's an alligator over there, you're not going to feel like you're anywhere near Saint Denis.
Yeah, honestly.
It's a different game.
Exactly.
You're not going to feel it. It's totally different. So even if square by square Red Dead Redemption 2 was, not as big as GTA 5, I bet you it would feel bigger. I think it'll feel enormous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was
because even just looking. Oh, sorry, Dean.
No, I was just going to comment on Rue's on his his opinion there on the map and stuff. I was actually reading into some of this stuff, and it is sort of confirmed that like Rockstar want to make it that for every location you go to, it will always feel fresh and different, and there's just more to it that will make every location unique. And I like the idea of being in a set location. So like, for example, Rue said that if you're in a swampy area, you're actually feeling that you're in that area and you have no connection to any of the cities on the outside. So I think that is a unique feature that Rockstar is bringing to Red Dead. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think it'll make an appearance for sure. Kind of like what you were saying, and that's something I'm definitely excited for. And that's kind of what was it? It wasn't Strauss Zelnick, it was Rob Nelson, because that's one of the studio heads for Rockstar. Kind of talking about that same thing, like not just, of course they said Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to be very large, of course, but the most detailed. And I've always kind of thought it on like a very like simple scale of like, oh, it's going to be the most detailed, so there's going to be a lot of enterable buildings, and that's kind of it. But I think it means more like what you're talking about, of how each ecosystem is totally unique, you know, and you feel totally disconnected from everything else once you get into like some area, you know.
Exactly.
And just looking at all these vast shots in the gameplay of like all these different valleys and mountains, and you could see the convoy of carriages and wagons crossing that river by the waterfall. This looks I mean, I have no way to compare and find my orientation in any of these shots and be like, oh, well, maybe a similar shot in the gameplay trailer is kind of close to that one. It all looks completely detached and different. So I'm excited for that.
Tremendous. It's true. It's a beautiful day to play games when you got this coming up.
Mm-hmm.
I just can't wait, man. We still haven't seen a full-on map, but can you imagine? I can't remember when the map was leaked for GTA 5. They weren't accurate. I think most of the map for GTA 5 was pieced together by screenshots. So you'd see all the different screenshots or trailer things, and then they'd go, okay, this looks like it would fit here. And it's like a really very complicated puzzle, if you will. And then they'd come up with a map, how they think it should look. So I don't think anyone's done that with Red Dead yet.
Yeah, Rockstar's doing a good job of kind of like keeping your orientation all like crazy. Like I'm looking at all these shots of this thing in the gameplay trailer. I don't know where any of this is. I wouldn't have the like the slightest clue.
Yeah. All you have are individual references.
Mm-hmm.
Like think of it like a dream. You know where you are. You can't say how you got there.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You don't know how you get to Saint Denis. For all we know, you could go through that swamp, or you could cross a mountain. Like, there's no reference, which is amazing because it's very good at being able to show us a lot, but still there's so many surprises.
Oh yeah.
With so many games, it's really easy to just give it all because no one will buy it otherwise. They have to force feed you stuff, so trailer after trailer. I think I've pointed out ages ago, like Battlefield used to be putting out an hour's worth of gameplay on dozens of channels. They'd fly people out. Here you go, play Battlefield for an hour, record it, put it up, and then you'd literally have like in one day, 15 hours worth of actual like playing the gameplay go out. You imagine if they did that for Red Dead Redemption? How wrong that would feel.
Yeah, it wouldn't be.
If
yeah.
The time the game comes around, you almost feel like, I don't know if I can be bothered.
Exactly.
Yeah, you've seen it all.
I've seen it all. There's now nothing to surprise me. The wonder of searching a map that big is awesome. Anytime you've got an open world game where you can sit and rifle through it and discover it as you go along is great.
Do you guys remember the leaked map back in 2016 that everyone was talking about?
No, not really. I wasn't.
Well, okay, so on this video I will have like an image, or I'm sure you guys will, but if you just type into Google, there is a leaked apparent Red Dead Redemption 2 map, an early stage, and it has like Valentine, which I do believe is one of the cities in the game. And it's clear that we can see it in the trailer, and to see that on the leaked map, it kind of confirms that in a way that the leaked map is kind of real in a way. But what I find interesting is that on that map there is no desert location at all, but yet in the gameplay trailer we see a really massive desert, and I think that really does like add mystery to sort of like you were saying, that there are more places to like uncovering that Rockstar hasn't really shown much of the map, but it looks huge so far though.
Yeah, they give like an outline of, kind of like the outskirts of the map that you were talking about. And they have the town and city and camp and settlement names and all that stuff. The only true detail in that map is, at the time, what it was, New Bordeaux, and then someone changed it to Saint Denis, and they showed the town in that bottom right corner. Everything else is just a dot on the map. And so I think definitely, that's probably what the map is and the shape of it. But everything else in between, we have no idea. There's going to be all these different elevation changes, and like Rue was talking about, all these different separate ecosystems that kind of fade into each other and that you can get totally sucked into. And I think that's where people are misinterpreting what this map, or how big this map is going to be.
Yeah,
I don't mind that. I don't really care for the shape of the map so much. I just mind and I'm interested in where one biome meets the next.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to go from a snow-capped mountain to the desert. So we know that there must be a few places in between that, because it's not going to happen, is it? You're not going to be knee-deep in snow and then sunbathing in 50 degrees Fahrenheit.
Hey man, they taught that in school. That's where the Atacama Desert comes in Chile.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, fine, but you know what I mean.
Debunked.
Get
out of here.
You can have it, but it would be very strange, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah.
If,
they probably wouldn't do that.
We're in America, you'd imagine, so it's sort of, But you may expect to go from the desert to somewhere maybe a little swampy. You might be able to fit that in there somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird little things like that. So it's going to be so big, but also we know it's not just going to be a square that you get to the corner and it's like, sorry, you can't go past here. Like, there's, it's going to be rounded and there's going to be water surrounding it because of, maybe more mountains that you can't go into. As opposed to just it's a square and when you go past that square, sorry, there's no more map. Like, it's going to be a round shape somewhere along the line, isn't it?
Yeah, more round than square. I'm going to be interested to see the outskirts and see, because Red Dead Redemption, you had the steep cliff faces that you couldn't climb up. Maybe this time it's like you're on tops of the mountain. How do you get down? All around the map is probably a steep cliff or something. But then they'd have to edit in all the outside stuff. That maybe they wouldn't do that. I don't know. I'm talking out of my ass at this point.
Just a big shark.
Yeah.
Just
a unicorn comes in and blows you up with an orbital cannon.
Warning, turn around now.
Do all the cliches for the end of the map. That Rockstar, I trust you.
Or just an invisible wall that we'll have to keep headbutting and walking into again. Remember they used to do that? You'd just stumble. Oh, so hang on, there's something there. And you'd walk again and you'd hit it. You go back all the way to the PlayStation 1 games. If you ran into the invisible wall of a little circuit, if you drop you drop like a drop of water into still water, it like ripples.
Mm-hmm.
You used to do that in PlayStation games. You'd walk into it and it'd go bloop, bloop. You'd be like, you can't walk into it.
Fortnite does that to some extent still. You can't build out. I mean, yeah, there's no ripple effect, but yeah.
Invisible wall. There's a cliff there, but if you hit it, it's just going. It's even worse because the character carries on running. He's just not going anywhere now.
Didn't they have that in Modern Warfare 2? In the Call of Duty game, in the map Wasteland, that if you went out through, if you went past the barrier, you're basically in radiation. You just can't.
Oh yeah, the whole map. Yeah, everywhere is covered by a nuclear blast site. It doesn't, I think they'll come up with a way that's more subtle, less, immersion breaking than that. Because they need to. You can't have a game focused so heavily on immersion and realism or whatever and then do that. It's just going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, they're going to do some type of mountain or cliff face or something like that. They have the ocean on the other side, which I'm sure, in this game, probably they could do that very subtly, because if your character tries to swim out there, he's just going to get tired and drown. Something like that. But I guess it'll be different if you take a boat. Maybe it's just stormy, your boat flips, and then it forces you to drown later on. So there's a whole bunch of different things we can see.
Or even better, you go out there on a little steamboat, and the steamboat just stops working, and that's it. You're there now. You're just bobbing around in the middle of the ocean. But no, with any luck, we'll get that Dead Eye thing that you were talking about sometime soon. probably next month. I'm thinking maybe sometime in September, and then one in October, and then it would make a bit of sense. Maybe a couple in September.
Yep.
The closer we get to the release, the more we can expect. But as usual, silence is the key for now.
Most definitely. To end off this segment of this podcast, how many gameplay parts or episodes do you guys think we're going to see? I think we're going to see 3 in total, with the last one being online focused, and it's online's teased in the next one, at the end of the next trailer.
Yeah, I think 3 is a good show. I think.
I don't know why, but 3 is a good shout. It is strange, but 3 is pretty damn. It's a solid shout.
Yeah.
3 makes sense. We've had the 1 showing the main game, 1 showing Deadeye. What else do you have? Animals? Do you focus on animals more? Do you focus on characters? Is it a story-driven thing? Maybe they tell us more about the gang and how you interact with it. I don't know. You could go anyway. I think 3. I'll say 3, and then maybe a couple other trailers in between. You don't have to stop at that.
Yeah, like many things.
So there we go. I think we should probably jump in a bit sooner this time. Go in with a couple of, we'll jump in and maybe do a few more of these over the course of the week.
Definitely.
That could be fun.
Let us know in the comments what you guys want to see us talk about in these videos as well, because we want to take as much feedback as possible to make sure it's accompanied or catered to you guys.
We get caught up, Hazard being 6 hours apart from us, sort of thing, and doing our own thing. We're all running around. I'm streaming, Dean's I don't know, helping old ladies across the road, and
just doing Dean things.
He's doing
good
Dean
guy
things.
Dean.
He's doing Dean. He's doing Dean things, and so we get in when we can and have a bit of a chat and all the rest of it. It's pretty good. I've enjoyed this one. It's been a nice little laid back kind of 20-minute discussion about gameplay and all the rest of it. It's so weird. It almost feels like to me it's like the hype is real now.
The hype is get hyped, everyone. If you're not
get
hyped yet, you better get hyped now.
Hyped. It's happening.
Thinking of the Office scene. Oh my god, it's happening. Everyone stay calm.
I think Dean needs to Dean, you've never ended one of these for us, have you? Give us a good old outro.
Good old outro. Alright.
Go on. Rattle off for a minute.
I'll just do my own thing. Alright. So anyways, guys, I do thank you all for tuning into this. I'm not saying this for myself, but for Rue, Hazard, it's been a blast as always coming out doing a podcast with you guys. I love you guys.
Slinging.
I love you.
Slinging.
Yeah. My number 1 homies. So yeah, if you guys want to subscribe and turn on notifications, very important. If you guys haven't already, turn them on for myself, Red Dead 2 videos, Rue, and Hazard himself. And if you guys want to check out my channel, you guys are more than welcome. If you guys want to check out Rue's channel, you're more than welcome. And Hazard's channel, if you guys are watching on my channel. It's been fun doing this podcast, and as always, I've been Dean. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.